The story of American Airlines Flight 217. Introduction and background. On April 14, 2003, American Airlines Flight 217, a Boeing 737-800, prepared for a routine journey from Miami International Airport to Charlotte Douglas International Airport. The aircraft, known for its reliability, was set to cover the short domestic route with 137 people on board, including passengers and crew members. The atmosphere on board was relaxed as the flight was scheduled in the afternoon, and most passengers were preparing for a smooth journey northward. Flight 217 was piloted by an experienced crew. Captain John Emerson, with over 25 years of flying experience, was in command, and First Officer Sarah Munroe, a seasoned pilot herself, was in the co-pilot seat. Together, they had thousands of hours of combined flying time. Their professionalism would soon be put to the test in ways they could never have anticipated. Takeoff and climb. As Flight 217 taxied to the runway, nothing seemed unusual. The weather was clear, skies were relatively calm, and visibility was perfect, ideal conditions for flying. Following routine protocol, the flight was cleared for takeoff, and the aircraft lifted off smoothly. Passengers were settling into their seats, some flipping through magazines while others began to nap. The in-flight crew was busy ensuring all safety measures were in place, serving beverages, and conducting initial checks. Once the aircraft reached its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, the pilots conducted a routine engine check. Suddenly, a faint rumble was heard from the left side of the aircraft, disrupting the otherwise calm atmosphere in the cockpit. The rumble grew into a slight shudder as the left engine began to lose power unexpectedly. The first sign of trouble. At first, Captain Emerson and First Officer Munroe suspected it might be a momentary fluctuation, a glitch that would stabilize. But when they saw the engine indicators flashing red and noted that the left engine was rapidly losing thrust, they knew this was no minor issue. The left engine, a crucial part of the Boeing 737's performance, showed signs of a malfunction severe enough to disrupt the flight's course. The pilots immediately notified air traffic control of the situation, declaring an emergency. In a calm but urgent tone, Captain Emerson informed the passengers about a technical issue with one of the engines, reassuring them that the crew was handling it and advising everyone to remain seated with seatbelts fastened. Coordinating the emergency response in the minutes that followed, the crew's response was critical. They coordinated with air traffic control, requesting an immediate return to Miami. Simultaneously, the flight attendants were given instructions to prepare the cabin and ensure passenger safety. An emergency landing required a well-coordinated response, and every second counted. Flight attendants began going through the cabin, checking seatbelts, securing loose items, and ensuring everyone understood the safety procedures. Captain Emerson and First Officer Munroe meticulously went through the emergency checklist, attempting to stabilize the remaining right engine and control the descent. They adjusted the flight path, aiming for a direct route back to Miami International. The flight crew maintained communication with air traffic control to ensure a clear runway for landing. The descent and tension in the cabin. As the plane began its descent, tension among the passengers grew. The calm announcement had alleviated some of their concerns, but many looked out of the windows, noticing the quickening descent and feeling the slight turbulence. Some passengers gripped their armrests tightly, others exchanged worried glances, whispering to one another. The flight attendants, though visibly calm, were clearly on high alert, moving through the cabin with a renewed sense of purpose. Meanwhile, the cockpit was a scene of intense focus. The pilots monitored the controls, ensuring that the single operational engine held up and that the aircraft was descending at a safe rate. First Officer Munroe kept an eye on the fuel levels and hydraulic systems to make sure there were no additional complications. Their training was put to the ultimate test as they navigated through a precarious situation with precision. The final approach to Miami. As Flight 217 neared Miami International Airport, the emergency response team on the ground had prepared the runway, clearing it of all traffic to allow the plane to land immediately. Fire trucks, ambulances, and other emergency personnel stood ready by the runway, prepared for the worst but hoping for a safe landing. In the cabin, the crew instructed passengers to adopt the brace position, which added to the mounting sense of anxiety. Some passengers were praying, others held hands or clutched onto items of sentimental value. The gravity of the situation was evident, and everyone knew that a safe landing depended on the skill of the pilots and the resilience of the remaining engine. As the Boeing 737 descended, Captain Emerson executed a gradual approach, easing the plane down towards the runway. The cockpit was tense, every second stretching into what felt like an eternity. The final moments before touchdown were crucial, as any sudden jolt or fluctuation in engine power could destabilize the aircraft. The emergency landing with careful control, the aircraft touched down on the runway. The passengers felt the wheels hit the ground, followed by a series of loud thuds as the aircraft decelerated. The tension of the previous minutes finally broke as Flight 217 slowed to a halt. Applause and cheers erupted in the cabin, and relieved passengers hugged one another. The emergency response teams moved swiftly, securing the area around the plane and assisting the crew in helping passengers safely exit the aircraft. The flight attendants began directing passengers off the plane, and emergency personnel checked the left engine as the passengers disembarked. The crew's rapid response had saved everyone on board, and all 137 passengers and crew members were unharmed. Investigation and aftermath, the incident led to a thorough investigation by American Airlines and aviation authorities. Engineers inspected the left engine to determine the exact cause of the malfunction. After a detailed analysis, it was concluded that the engine failure was due to a rare mechanical defect, prompting the airline to implement additional safety protocols and engine checks across similar aircraft. Captain Emerson and First Officer Munroe were commended for their exceptional handling of the situation. Their teamwork, calm demeanor, and quick thinking had averted a potential tragedy, and they were hailed as heroes by the passengers, the airline, and the broader aviation community. The flight attendants were also praised for their professionalism in keeping the passengers calm and ensuring safety throughout the emergency. Legacy of Flight 217. The story of American Airlines Flight 217 serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of safety and training in the aviation industry. It underscored the value of thorough emergency protocols, highlighting the crucial role played by experienced flight crews in moments of crisis. For those who were on board that day, it was a life-altering experience that they would never forget, a testament to human resilience, skill, and the incredible bravery of the aviation professionals who brought them safely back to the ground.